Welcome back. So I thought it would be a good thing for whether you're a first-time home buyer or you're buying your 10th house, a couple things that as a lender, I would always say, you don't want to do this. Don't do this. Please don't do this. Okay. And the reason I'm saying this is because it can make it so you get declined. It can make it so you have a horrible experience. It's just no fun. Okay. So let's start with one of the big ones, waiting till the last minute. That's right. And I see this sometimes, like I'll have a really good conversation with someone on the phone and I'll be like, yeah, okay, it sounds like you're ready. Like, let's fill out the app. Let's start the pre-approval process. And then I don't hear anything. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess they weren't ready, right? Because look, I'm not a stalker. I'm not going to force you to buy a house. I have found over, my 15 plus years in the career that if someone wants to buy a house, they're going to fill out the application. They're going to make it happen, right? If a lender has to call you and be like, hey, is today the day? Like, you don't want to buy a house or you don't want to work with them. So what I'll see is, we have these conversations and I'm like, okay, great. And then nothing. I'm like, okay, no worries. And then I get a call, I get a text. It's like 10 o'clock at night. It's always late. 10 o'clock at night, 5 in the morning. We want to write an offer and it's a picture of the house. And I'm like, cool. Did you ever fill out the application? No. Should we do that? Yes, yes, yes. And look, maybe there's miscommunication on that and I need to be clearer, but you want to get pre-approved before you find the house. And the reason is that a fully underwritten pre-approval takes time. Yes, can you get a piece of garbage approval in minutes that's worth nothing and could totally have you lose money? Yes, there's lots of online companies willing to take that risk with your money. It's not what I do, right? I'm gonna want documents. I'm gonna wanna fully underwrite your approval. In many cases, if I'm looking at a manual underwrite or something more complicated, it would be foolhardy to move forward without that stamp of approval. So you wanna make sure if you're even thinking about buying a house, get pre-approved. Seriously. And I'll hear like, well, we don't really think we wanna buy for a couple months. And I ask this question, are you looking at houses online? Yeah. Then get pre-approved. Because here's the thing, what are you gonna do if you look at a house and you love it, but you're not pre-approved? Then you're in that pressure cooker situation of, oh my God, we're gonna miss out on the house. It's 10 p.m. Who's gonna approve me at midnight? I'm not. And I don't say that to be rude, but it's like, I'm a human, like I'm not a robot. I can't go 24 hours a day. And also, it's not realistic. So if you guys are thinking, well, I don't know, maybe, maybe not, maybe not. I get it. Like, look, I play that game myself. A lot of you guys know I moved to Florida. I haven't bought a place here yet, but I'm pre-approved. I am. And I'm pre-approved because if something happens, I want to be able to jump on it. Okay. So if you're looking at houses on the market, get pre-approved. Don't put yourself in that boiler, that horrible situation. Because remember, we want a zero stress experience. That's stressful. Okay. Because here's the thing too, you haven't gone over payments. You haven't gone over closing costs. There's a lot that happens in that initial pre-approval process, especially with me. And I ask a bunch of questions. Sometimes people are like, why are you asking me this? And I'm like, it will help you later, I promise. So really watch out for that. Okay. If you're looking, just get pre-approved. And the next thing is people go, well, I don't want my credit run. Get over it. Get over it. I'm sorry. It had to be said. Someone had to say it. Get over it. Like, look, some lenders will do soft pulls. If I'm going to do a full underwrite, I have to do a hard pull. It doesn't ruin your credit. Okay. People are like, well, how many points? It depends. Is it like, have I ever seen that I pull someone's credit and their score goes down 50 points? No. Have I seen it go down 5? Yeah. Have I seen it not go down at all? Sure. You got to get over that. And a credit pull with a lender is good for 120 days. So get that pre-approval, know where you're at. And then if 120 days passes and you're like, maybe we repull it, maybe we don't. We ask and that's a conversation. So there's so much stuff right now online where it's like, never let anyone pull your credit. Have them commit to giving you hundreds of thousands of dollars without a credit pull. How does that work? The only person who's going to give you a pre-approval letter without running credit for hundreds of thousands of dollars is someone who's just giving you a piece of trash. So, okay, that's number one. Number two. Okay, so this is kind of a weird one, but I get this sometimes and my team gets this sometimes and it's really difficult. Please don't lie to us. Please, it's exhausting. Like, I'm just going to be blunt, Don't say things like, well, for the sake of this conversation and then make up some tale that you think a lender wants to hear. Because I'm going to go, what do you mean by that? What's the reality? Tell me the reality. Don't tell me what you think I want to hear. Tell me the truth, okay? Because that's the thing. What everyone needs to realize about a lender is anything you say, I have to document. That's right. So if you say, oh yeah, oh, I don't even know, I'm getting a job, I have a job offer in XYZ. Cool, I need a copy of it. Like, that's what you need to know. Anything you tell to us, we have to document. So please be honest. And then sometimes people are like, I don't think they'll find, we always find out. We don't even want to find out most of the time, and we still find out. There's so many checks and balances put into place with lenders. And I don't think people are intentional. I think it's rare that someone's actually actively trying to commit fraud. In my dealings, it's pretty rare that I'm on the phone and I'm like, oh, right? I think most of the time it's just people have a distrust or they don't know and they're trying to and it's I would always rather just tell me everything horrible. Tell it to me all. And I can tell you if we can work through that or not, because I've seen some really hairy situations. And a lot of times people are like, oh, they'll be super honest, which I love. They're like, I've got this, I've got this, I've got this. And I'm like, keep going. I'm not even blinking yet. And they're like, really? And I'm like, yeah, this is nothing. Keep going. When are you going to tell me something that scares me? Be honest, okay? And, one that can happen a lot that people don't realize is they'll switch jobs. They'll switch jobs in the middle of a transaction and they're like, well, how'd you find out? Guys, we have to verify your employment in the beginning and the day before closing, sometimes the day of closing. So we always find out. So if you're going to switch jobs, tell us so we can make sure it's going to work. Make sure you're being honest and transparent. I had someone once who quit their job and they're like, well, how did you find out I quit? Because we went to verify it, right? Everything is verified time and time again. So just be aware of that. Okay, what's the other thing that leads to needless stress? The other thing that leads to needless stress is, I would call it document. There's going to be a better term. Drop it in the comments if you guys have a good one for this. But it's piecemealing documents or arguing every document. And that's exhausting for both the processor and for you, right? And here's the thing. So as a lender, there's specific documents we need. And some of it's really stupid. It's if we can't electronically verify your assets, I need the 2 most recent bank statements. And so people will take a picture of the account and they'll be like, here you go. And it's no, I need 2 most recent statements, all pages. But that page is blank. I know, it's a guideline, right? We don't ask for stuff that we don't need. We don't want to. You got to think about it that way, just from okay, because people are like, oh, well, the lender wants everything. Guys, it's more work for us. Seriously, it's more work for us. Let's just bring it back to the human element, the Jennifer element, the Maria, the Chadwick, the Jen Anderson, the Sam. It's more work the more we ask for. So we're not asking for additional stuff for fun, okay? So realize we're not the enemy here. We're asking for the documents because that's what the underwriter's going to need to give you the money, okay? That's the first one. The second one is piecemealing. And look, I don't expect people to be perfect and be able to upload every single document day one. That's a fantasy. And I love it when you guys do that, because I've got a lot of clients that are like, I already did it all. And I'm like, wow, it's an hour passed and Maria's sending me text messages going, they get flowers. I love them. I know that's not realistic. I'm not that person. I know. I wouldn't be that good of a borrower. I would probably be a bit annoying, to be honest. But where it gets really tough is if you're sending, let's say you're getting pre-approved, but it's not super urgent for you. So, March 1st, we get a document. March 20th, we get a document. March 23rd, you're asking us if we have all your documents. You just need to keep in mind that we're going to forget your file every single time that happens. And then we have to go back in and re-review it. And then you're like, oh, you guys are taking forever. And it's no. We're literally having to relearn your file every time because the distance is so great between when we're looking at it and when we're getting the next piece of a puzzle, right? Think about it as a puzzle. So you have a picture of the puzzle, and imagine if you got one piece in 1 month, another the next month, you'd have to keep on going back to that box and looking at what the heck is this supposed to be. And with the way loan files work, it's not as easy as looking at a puzzle piece box. So I feel like those are the three things that can lead to a lot of stress, right? You know, the not being prepared, like that's the number one. Like the biggest tip I can tell you to like have a great transaction, enjoy the home buying process, is to give yourself time and grace to get pre-approved, get fully underwritten, understand the